one time not that long ago where it seemed like everyone hated Nuke. No one ever played it. Now it's being played constantly, and I'm completely down for that. It's a really fun map to watch, and this is one of those maps as well that I think lends itself very strongly to CS2's current situation, with the shotguns being strong, SMGs being strong, pistols being strong. Maps like Nuke allow the CTs to somewhat return the favor with playing with those lower tier weapons and making the most of them.
Oh yeah, mate. You know, you can actively make a heads-up decision to eco by using a shotgun, and it will really pay off for you. A lot of Zeus lineups on this one as well, if people have been doing their homework since the Call to Arms update. But either way, we'll step into the focus, because this game is live, and Demo strikes first, the Glock opening, as it will shut down Forrester. AMKAL, one man short on the CT side. 4 versus 5 as Enterprise are spreading themselves around the map, Vince. But the trade game is being played, and they're bleeding down towards B.
That's how gets the upper hand onto Crad, but Nickelback is still there with a Julie to jump across. As Tao goes in for another one, a player that's been around for a very, very long time indeed. And now Travis and Icy have to try and pick up the remnants of the ashes of this pistol round. Neither of them in great positions, both of them isolated from one another. And although they're both full HP, I mean, they could even justify saving these Kevlar. A 2v4 retake on B site with no intel at all and no kits, no real grenades to play with. I mean, it makes sense for you to actually save. Get that Kevlar in, upgrade to head armor, and try and come back stronger in the next round.
You can also gatekeep pretty heavily as well, and at least try and hold these angles. Obviously, a lot of choke points to play around, lurking back towards Secret. One other thing is as well, you can't afford to take much damage here. You want to keep that Kevlar in fruition. Do not take a single chunk, because the bomb radius on Nuke in CS2 is gargantuan. It's absolutely massive, so be careful. And know how much HP you've got and where you need to be standing. So when you use the underground, Vince, it's behind the yellow line, not in front of the yellow line. It's dangerous.
Yeah, those detonation changes really have altered drastically saving on this map, trying to convey that economy and keep it ticking forward. You saw a couple players go down with a ship there. They did hold on to those 2 players, so it's going to mean that they're going to go for a scout, a couple of MP9s. UMP actually getting played again. We discussed this in the qualifiers, that UMP was getting a little bit more play time. We were a bit confused and perplexed as to why.
Because obviously you're seeing a lot of love for some weapons that are potentially off meta for people that were around in CS, go towards the tail end, now coming back to watch a spot of CS2 in a major cycle. MP9's always in fruition. UMP, one that some teams are favoring as well. Shotgun's always getting a nice bit of airtime. And the MAC-10, boy, the MAC-10 feels beastly right now, Vince.
It does, man. Like MAC-10s and MP9s. Oof. Even seeing players utilizing the P90s as well on those T sides. Yeah. Just absolute powerhouse weapons right now. Meanwhile, though, the scout gets a dry peek from Demo, who does put him down. Forrester back with one of his own, and the Deagle popping off from back on the CT spawn side of things. That HE has damage written all over it. Nickelback takes it on the head, so down he will fall. And Enterprise in good position to extend their lead again.
Clearing their angles, but taking their time with it. Enterprise would like to win this round, but win it cleanly. And not throw away any of these weapons they've invested into. Might come a little bit unstuck though, Vince. They've got the smoke down towards Squeaky at least, but Forrester's here, and he's going to take his fight in towards Hart. Hit the initial shot. A lot of damage done, but the follow-up bullets go west. They don't land on target, so he falls short. And Travis and Crad now probably just looking for the exits, or to see if they can snatch away a frag here and there.
Jill has come through. A little bit far away, but he's going to go and retrieve the Galil. A nice boon to the economy and arsenal of weaponry into that next round. I believe he had the CZ as well, so he could actually drop that across and bolster up an extra player. So Enterprise, they're going to dial in the 2-0 lead pretty comfortably overall, although Travis does put down Badgmeat. But a 2-0 start all the same. AMKAL should be able to hold on to these 2 weapons, so they'll be coming through with a bit of a bite into the next one. But we expected this game to be a close one, Jackie. We expected it to be pretty much blow for blow, and so far it's been a scrappy one.
Early doors yet though. Obviously for Enterprise, you take that pistol, You've got a little bit more room to breathe in terms of the better firepower. AKs always pack a punch outside Nuke. You've just got the range advantage to play with. For AMKAL, though, more curious about what they do to switch things up in terms of the setup. Obviously, can't really play this like a rifle round. It's one of those rounds where now more than ever, you want to try and crunch away from ramp, see if you can get control inside of lobby, push through Squeaky if possible, fight for control of the hut. Early on, a bit more of a default in terms of the setup, nothing too audacious. One player boosted back round towards the ramp, so if you go walking down, Travis will spot you. And obviously MP9 in this angle, Vince, you're just spamming into those head hit boxes. It's pretty meaty. You can find those frags if they don't clear it.
Oh, 100%. Expect that they will be clearing these angles, though, but Demo's getting in it aggressively. He is by himself. Looks up, there's the MP9. Travis punishes him. Maybe unable to retrieve the fallen weapon, but at least it puts Enterprise onto the back foot.
Oh, drops down. Tao hears this. Fires off the warning shots, grabs the Kalashnikov and backs off, staying alive with no response. And that's all he's got to do is just be numbers at this point. It's a 4 versus 4 with chip damage established onto a couple of the Enterprise players, but more importantly, the time now becoming a bit of an additional player on the server, Vince. 40 seconds, and they're going round towards ramp. Travis is here. He's got a HE in the pocket. Nickelback just needs to delay and buy time for the info.
He's done just that. Travis now can try and draw away some fire, but he's gone down without much of a fight, and that put Nickelback into a much more difficult, stagnant position. If Travis gets one there, he can wide swing and try and extend that. Exists with the drive-by of Dreams. Icy gets completely destroyed, and Enterprise off to a quick fire 3-0.
Man, that last shot was sick.
It was swift.
Right, that was milliseconds, Vince. Okay. Enterprise looking pretty drilled at the minute. It's rough, though. It's one of those where, for AMKAL, obviously, it's not the worst thing in the world to lose that round, but in terms of the way they set it up, you had a very real possibility of building something from the position you were in.
Ooh. Looks better on repeat viewing, man.
Oh, yeah.
Understand that elation and the double kill. That's good for the confidence. Good for the bank balance and good for the overall tally of rounds. But here we go, and it's the first pick outside.
Exist. Making everyone else the opposite of his name as they cease to be. Crad, those in the back line. Playing around the smoke perfectly, and he'll strike back, giving Exist a taste of his own medicine. Eyes in the right location as well, looking towards top silo. Meanwhile, game of push and pull, Vince. The CTs are starting to establish control towards trophy room, and Demo, not believing they've pushed this far up, gives his life away for free.
Balancing all things, you push one extremity of the map, expect the CTs to swiftly move in another and fill in those gaps. Nickelback extending the player advantage into this one. And although AMKAL may have conceded that last round, they've clearly put that to the back of their minds. They've got their eye on the prize, and the prize is their first round of the map. Babchmi, though, says no. Nickelback down. Oh, a second big pick, though, and a third as well. A 2v4 spins on its head, and it all comes down to Forrester.
Finds the first. They pay off the bomb, though, Vince. Not wasting time, instantly peeking back into it and snatching that round away. It looked like surely that was going to be the first on the board for AMKAL. 2 opportunities now where they get close, but it falls through the fingertips. At least there's a pause, Vince. Don't let it swell and keep going wrong as you've lost 4 rounds on the spin now.
It's just so devastating because it's not just a 2v4 where someone maybe lands a worldy shot outside, or you know, someone had vent dove prior in the round and they just got the backstab. This is a 2v4 where both the Ts were clumped up in hut together in a bottleneck. I do not understand how the hell AMKAL have let that one slip. That's the kind of area, if you just spray into hut, you're more than likely going to get at least 1 kill or soften up the target that one of your teammates clears it out. The fact that they peaked 1 by 1 as 4 players, that is a terrible outcome for a 2v4 where you desperately need your first round here.
Now more than ever. Would have been a whole game changer as well. And this is interesting. I love a bit of this. The Nova, it's in right now. It's hot right now, especially on Nuke. If you're confident with it, want to go for an early hot push, man, this thing could be meaty, Vince. Big Popper Pump has made an appearance. Crad holding it in his hands. The boomstick deployed, but he goes down. Forrester at least equalizing the situation with a UMP and cascading back. So a 1-for-1 trade found.
Not too shabby, all things considered, for AMKAL, coming into this round with a much worse arsenal of weaponry. The demo with 2, up to his 4th kill. And the woes continue. They tried something different. They tried some form of lobby crunch with the Nova and the UMP. They got early little bits of success, but it feels like it's going to fall apart once again. Nickelback making tons of noise. Slim pickings for Demo. Easy 5-0. And although one of these rounds should have been AMKAL's, the rest of them, if we're being honest, Jackie, have been very one-sided.
They've been pretty cut and dry. For AMKAL, it's just a matter of, you know, when can you actually stop the bleeding now at this point? It's your CT side as well. Got to get a bit of something going. Start cooking sooner rather than later. Difference, obviously, Icy now actually has the scope to work with. Outside, he's been first picked quite a few times, so opening frags always seem to be going the way of Enterprise. At least now, you've got that scope, but that's if they come towards you, Vince. They're setting their focus round towards ramp once again. 3 players inside of Trophy. Travis with a backup of Nickelback, but he spans the smoke and gets one. Trey back though, Molotov pulled out, getting a bit awkward.
Awkward, but can fall back in the smoke. Bashmi passes a couple of players. Crad, in the meanwhile, is looking onto main side. Bashmi's now posted up. He's looking on top of Hut, anticipating a player maybe there. The timing working in his favor, but he gets traded back. That forward position has been dealt with. Dethroned. More aggression through. Icy is going to have some success with the AWP. Drops down as well. But there's still a minute left on the clock. This has all happened so quickly that the T's have time.
You spotted out one of the players moving his way around towards main. Icy should have been set up for that shot. Vincey knew the location, but couldn't find the connection. And Taur slipped down the vent. Off the ladder and onto the bomb site, punches in the digits and it's planted. Exist. He can waste time on this angle. And Icy peeking into him with the AWP. Luckily the timing works. Back turned. Icy finds the frag and it's all on the man that's planted the bomb to defend now on the retake.
Control room, a pretty solid position here for him. He has no real grenades to work with. He needs the timing. They smoked it down, and he's given his position away by tapping out the window. Tried to get a better angle as the bomb was actually planted behind the silo. I thought it was planted out in the open. That would have been much better for him. He has more than enough time for the defuse. So AMKAL will get themselves on the board finally. It's taken quite a while, but even then, Jackie, it was at the cost of 3 players. So they've got success, they've kept a couple weapons. Their money is in no great shape, and now Enterprise have every chance to just break him back down again.
Super expensive round. And also it's a little bit worrying as well, obviously, right? This is one of those opportunities where now we see Icy with the AWP in his hands. A couple of rough ones, a couple of near misses. 3K for him overall though. The round picked up. So it is what it is. We'll stick with the facts for now. Round 7 goes live. 5 rifles apiece for Enterprise with utility to support it. Early flashes through the skylight forces them off of the advanced angles they had. Meanwhile, Nickelback holds on a defensive angle towards outside, giving them a lot of room to breathe here, Vince.
They are, yeah. This wall of smoke has been planted multiple times. Enterprise really conditioning AMKAL to think that these secret pushes are coming in almost every single time. We can see from the benefit of the information we have, that's not necessarily the case, but Forrester eats that flash to the face and may have thought that maybe someone pushed through on the squeaky side there. The timing window was open. So these are all little bits of information that are going to be playing in the back of the CT's mind. There's still a minute left on the clock. They're being forced out of position. A lot of damage inflicted to Forrester as well.
I see. Will he see them? Lets the first player pass, doesn't respond. Vince, his crosshair isn't dragged off the ankle, plays it smart. The mechanics are good for the first, but it's a near miss. Nutmegs the second man, and they're beginning to overwhelm. Nickelback supports with the HE, and he's got past him. Taur, though, stutter steps back, playing off the information from Exist that he's got down secret, but he has to hit the head, Vince, and it's too tall of a task.
Yeah, it's not an easy shot to connect, is it? Especially when you're under heavy duress, a lot of pressure on his shoulders in a 2-on-4. We've already seen Enterprise snatch one of these 2v4s, in the past, but Tao's about to get shut down from above, and it is Crad that puts him down with authority. Much better from AMKAL, building up the funds and also knocking down the T's at the same time. And they're into a weird sort of half-buy scenario here. If they want to go in, they could squeak out a buy, but it would be far from ideal.
Contemplating what they want to prioritize on this one. A few hand cannons pulled out. Basically a deco then to work with. More importantly, 2 HEs and 2 smoke grenades. Make that a third as well. So they could still go for the outside smokes if they want to. Something they've been doing consistently to mess with the timing for the CTs. The AK takes a peek off the back of one of those HEs being used to blown off the door. No joy on the peek. Doesn't find the opening frag. They've still got one of them in the hands of Demo. He's setting himself up to actually pop him back through the smoke vents. They want to burst the smoke and peek in, but it's a miss.
You could see the wheels and cogs turning, but not quite the well-oiled machine they were hoping for. So the chance just slightly goes awry. Forrest is still limping around, however, on 41 HP. Exist has been tagged a little bit as well, but this is where you've thrown in your kind of utility, you've had your chance, you had your shot and you missed, and now it's going to have to be sort of a dry swing through the likes of Squeaky, through the likes of Hart. It's hard to see here, Jackie, how Enterprise can get much success.
All down to the intricacy of the timing. If the players towards main can hold the line, then the players towards Squeaky can move in and take map control. Forrester, though, up high, spamming down and finding success. Travis with the backup of Icy laying down the rest of the damage. Icy gets 2, Travis finds the head on the last man, and they deny much of an upset, Vince. 2 rebuys, that's fine. You can sustain from that.
Yeah, doing a bit of damage, but as you say, the economy is just slowly but steadily building up. However, Enterprise, they were a little bit more cautious, a little bit more conservative with their buy in the previous round. And that does allow them a very healthy, hearty buy here. It's going to be full AKs, the run and gun style. Plenty of utility. I'm assuming that wall of smoke's going to be tossed in yet again. Indeed it will. Molly's also to the back of red. Tons of Molotovs here, but it's Travis that takes the first, not for the first time through on ramp, and it's Demo on the receiving end.
If you're Demo right now, you gotta be getting so frustrated with the timing on that, right? That's twice we've seen him just swing into Trophy and get the frag for free. It's gonna be a pain in the backside. Oh, Travis. He doesn't just want 1 kill, Vince. He wants to absolutely ruin them towards ramp. Gets a follow-up shot, a fade-away 3-pointer as he runs down the ramp and plays it safe. Exist. He's pushed through Secret quite a few times. Again here, though, plays his card and reveals his location. So a seed of doubt planted and trying to keep Travis focusing on his angle, but he does not miss, Vince.
He is looking reborn in these last few rounds. Up to 10 kills. A 3K in this. Kicking it off with a smoke shot. And our friend and Bajmi are all that remains with 40 seconds. Could think about a save. It sucks in these kind of situations. You want to keep the pressure applied. You had such a good start on the T side, but they fall into the victim of AMKAL adjusting and finding the winning formula. Icy again, he's missed a few shots over the duration of this half, but now he's also hitting a streak. Him and Travis look like different players from a few rounds back.
Starting to play into his hands a lot more as well. We've seen him being very effective when he can play those kind of turret angles towards the A site on the pushes. If he can hold back site, he's gonna shut you down. Towards there as well. Getting a few freebies makes life a lot easier, makes it feel like the blood's pumping. And only 1 round away now, Vince. So actually, from what looked to be a really rough start for him, it's an equalizable scoreline. You can close this down. You just got to weather the storm that is the Tech 9 buy. And sometimes this can be a nightmare.
Well, HE is designed to blow open the smoke. No intel gathered from Icy's perspective, so he will back away. Intelligently as well, he doesn't want to stay in garage. That's where you can get swarmed over from those Tech 9s. The Shadow's going to betray these players. They push 1 by 1 into Crad, and he will push them out of this round. You talked about that storm that was incoming. It turned out to be a slight breeze overall.
The Enterprise weatherman lying again, Vince. It's raining cats and dogs out there. It was actually raining hamsters and frogs.
5-5, Jackie. What a turnaround this has been.
Whole different game now. And one of those that feels like maybe it is kind of going to be one of those a tale of two halves sort of games where, you know, the beginning really doesn't give you the full signs of life. And since AMKAL have actually had buys as well, that's where it's changed, right? They look a whole lot better now. They're hitting their marks. Ooh, Icy went from looking a bit sluggish at the start, Vince, to now just hitting everything.
100%. He was missing a lot of shots on ramp, wasn't he? And I was starting to think, oh no, are we going to have another situation like Stododo not quite showing up? But Icy really has turned his fortunes around, and I agree with you completely. I think it's also been that he's seen so much action that he's landed enough shots to build his confidence up, and it's this snowball now that's picking up pace. Demo, though, showing when he doesn't get smashed through smoke by Travis, he's actually able to get some kills.
He's just had to fight brute force for ramp control on that one. 6 shot as well, always helps. Opens up the lower side of the map for them. Nickelback's at least on a rotate round, so he's going to be moving in with a bodyguard to protect the VIP that is coming in through secret. Taul gets the bomb down as well. Utility to work with for the CTs on a retake. 4v4. Molotov blocks off the peak. Meanwhile, towards the A-bomb site, the lurker of Exist is deleted as Crad will crack his way through him. Squeaky door goes swinging open, and they look to punish out towards the bomb site, trying to keep these T's isolated, Vince. Time's ticking, though, and that's the bigger picture. They need to make their move towards the bomb and start to defuse. They've got the T's trapped, but you've got to do your job, and the frags are being found. He's on it, though, trying to stick. Meanwhile, the smoke will break, and the round's gone with it. Icy. He was lying in wait at the back line, but it's just a fadeaway frag. No round, as that's Enterprises.
They've thawed out the comeback from AMKAL and find themselves a 6th round going into that second half as it beckons here in our final round of the half itself. Will we see a repeat performance? Hey, we saw it against Na'Vi with their adversaries, Movistar Koi, in the previous game. Ended very one-sided, but the first half was neck and neck. And it feels like this game is going that way. And it was here, when they blew open the smoke with that HE and just completely gave open the position of Nickelback, the round was a done deal. Nicely done by Enterprise, but AMKAL have plenty of funds. They have a chance here, Jackie, to tie us up again. They're getting aggressive. Icy outside that, aggressive with the AWP. Guy's a madman.
As soon as he got activated, he's just been giving it, isn't he? Sick to see the change of pace. Crad smashing his way through Exist as well. The waterfall smoke out towards main to block off the angle, expands over the top and removes the vision at least. More so than anything, it's just the numbers game that's being a big issue here. We're in a 4v4. You've got an AWP positioned towards Squeaky. Icy has not been missing, and I don't think he's about to start on this peak, Vince. If they give him an inch to play with, he'll take an absolute mile. And he seems to have a read on it as well. Shown a bit of shoulder, but doesn't connect on that one. He gets out.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy shot to land either. And he feels confident he's not about to get swung on from behind because they do have Nickelback in garage watching for that main push. Nickelback starting to make moves in. May have just missed this time. Travis is here in the ramp area, holding the off angle, takes the shot so he can back away, lands the kill. Very important to just stall this push. Excellent work from Travis again. 12 kills come the second half, and he's tied it up at 6 apiece.
And I think what's sick there is how AMKAL passed the baton pretty effectively towards the end of that half. It went from everyone feeling like they weren't quite in it. They were starting to wake themselves up. You know, first game, Vince, first game of the RMR, right? It kind of is sort of a bit of a shock to the system to instantly be ready for that. After those first 5 rounds, whole different team. Everyone's able to find a 3K. Everyone's confident in a clutch. Makes a world of difference. So a neck and neck half out of these two. And for Enterprise, you start to worry specifically as well, because obviously, you know, first couple rounds, it's going to be a bit different. We're going to be talking about the pistols, then into the anti-eco, but I'm thinking long-term on this one, if Icy can maintain that pace, T-side AWP opening up control towards outside, Vince, he's going to be a pain in the backside.
It is. I suppose to play devil's advocate, and if you are on the side of Enterprise, you're thinking, right, he got a lot of kills there, he was aggressive, but a lot of them were off like ramp, it was squeaky peaks and things of that nature. Is he able to have that same level of impact when he has to be the aggressor, when he has to be pushing into those angles instead? And that is a question that we're going to be answered very shortly indeed. But it's AMKAL now on that T side as we were just discussing, and Enterprise on the CTs, pretty standard stuff. No aggression, no lobby crunches, no outside aggression whatsoever. They're sitting in their angles and they're waiting.
Demo frustrated about what went down towards the ramp during the first half. Oh, he wanted to really lay down the law with the Julies, but it is Wild West shenanigans, Vince, as they slay their way through him. And command control, they forced the back. Demo's still alive, but he's got to put the foot down.
He's also very low, and that's why he's going backwards and forwards. He knows he can't take one of those fast engagements. An off-angle peek into falling back is his best chance of success. And the Shadow giving away Travis. Friend will not miss that opportunity, looking to try and back themselves this second pistol. It's a scrappy one, but Icy gets the upper hand. Still with the bulk of his health left as well. This is still winnable. 50 seconds left on the clock. Icy has control over the bomb. And this next engagement, exchange could mean everything, but Demo survives on 19 HP, gifting that headshot as a parting gift as Enterprise take the lead again.
Terrifying, really, as well. Playing it perfectly in terms of knowing he's just got a kind of wide swing on him and see if he can overwhelm him. USP, whole lot harder to get the spam off. This was nuts, though. Dooley's getting no action here as Travis has been kind of on one. Either way, in the dying moments of the second half pistol, Enterprise do shut it down. Demo finally got some success off the back of playing passively towards the ramp. Pretty much all MP9s invested into as well, Vince. No shotgun specials this time around, but these MP9s will not only farm up the cash, but could make this quite a quick round if AMKAL peek into them.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing as well, obviously, it's just so brutal about the SMGs. When you're against Kevlar, the aim punch is just so consistent. It's so difficult to get anything to stick or anything to land if you're AMKAL. I think that's another reason why the Deagle is seeing a lot more play as well, as that one-tap potential gives you a lot more opportunities to just turn the tide quickly without needing the Kevlar investment. A separate conversation for a separate time. Perhaps his friend has decided he wants those dollar bills. 3 kills for him, and add a 4th into the mix with his USP. A very straightforward clean up, but AMKAL gonna have rifles coming up.
And maybe this is a trend as well that we'll see carried on from that first half. The pistol round didn't look as decisive when they're playing onto these kind of quasi-buys where they don't really have everything they want. You can see they struggle a bit. When they can put the paper down, Vince, whip out the wallets and get a full buy, suddenly the game changes. Confidence is definitely there for them. And they were hitting some sick headshots as well. You arm them all with AKs now going into this first buy. This is a round where maybe the script starts to change a bit and AMKAL can fight back.
They've already shown us once that being behind 5 or 6 rounds doesn't mean a great deal to them. No reason to feel like that won't be the same case here. This is a bonus round, though, on the side of Enterprise, so if they're successful, it will be AKs aplenty available for them to retrieve. And that bank balance will build up so nicely. Lots of damage to Nickelback outside. They managed to get down Secret, but a well-placed smoke from Friend. He can hide behind now with the MP9. This is going to stall AMKAL for quite some time and also allow the rest of Enterprise to rotate downstairs accordingly.
They're grouping up. But he's confident about it, playing on the edge of the smoke, Vince. If this dissipates, no one's going to be looking at the back right corner. It's such an awkward off angle. He gets 1 frag and deals chip damage onto the other players, probably giving them all a bit of a shock as well. Adrenaline pumping, and they react by going in towards the lower site. Meanwhile, Forrester's holding for the flank. Timing is going to be everything. And they've kind of baited him out on this one. He'll eat the nade. Oh, the ship is starting to sink, Vince. They might come unstuck with this one. Forced off the peak. Molly burning his heels, but Icy finding frags.
Yeah, this is the problem, though. When you have MP9s at this kind of range on ramp, you're going to have to trade, and they have now. 2 rifles would drop down in this position. Flashes being tossed in, stalling as much as possible. They do have a kit, though, in the hands of Demo. You better believe that Enterprise are at least going to try and fight for this one, and at bare minimum are going to force AMKAL to go down with the bomb. And as much economic damage done across to the T's as possible. Again, this was the bonus round of Enterprise. AMKAL put all of their pennies, all of their cents into this. So even if they're successful, but all three of them died to the bomb, that is going to play hell with their future endeavors in terms of their buy. And they have a player waiting in the form of Exist, the man that set this half alight with some beautiful entry frags downstairs, that's got one. But it won't be all. 2 survive.
2 survivors for either team. And that means at least they have some firepower brought into the next, makes it slightly easier to figure out the buy and piece together what you want to be doing. Looked like Exist was setting himself up for a huge cleave at the end on that one as well. Close, but no cigar for him. Bit of a change for the CT side as well. Friend's going to be donning the AWP, so CT scope gets pulled out. Same could not be said for AMKAL. We know that's where IC found so much of his success. Still having a good game though. Him and Travis, 15 frags apiece. Headshot angle, cheeky pixel peeks as Friend fires off a warning shot. That's all it is, Vince. A single warning and then forced to bail because of the Molotov to zone him out.
He must have a guardian angel watching over him though, Jack. He only loses 15 health. He was in mollies, there were nades being tossed in, bullets whizzing past his head, and loses minimal health in the process. Nickelback actually comes out worse for wear in that trade somehow, but it allows Friend to relocate back into ramp. Outside control, for the most part, has now been attained by the T's. And although HE is lined up from outside, Nickelback, I think he's going to be able to scamper across there. And although he takes a little bit more damage, he's down secret as well. So with a minute left on the clock, they have Friend downstairs, but AMKAL are probing and pushing multiple facets of the map simultaneously. This will make Enterprise very uncomfortable.
Timing's everything on this. Oh. Crad just goes for the wide swing to draw the crosshair. The follow-up commits good. Player on either side, it's hard to focus on which target you want to prioritize. So Friend falls short and goes down. Demo lurking at the back of the bomb site towards Dark Spot, expecting them to come running on in, but in reality, they're doubling back, Vince. It's a late play towards the A site, but the door is going to get slammed in their face. Crad comes up through the vent, finds the one headshot, and leaves it down on one man. Travis, he's had a hell of a half, but has to go huge in a spot like this. 17 seconds on the clock, sees the player standing tall, but Bamji shuts it down with a frag and denies the clutch attempt, giving Enterprise a 9th.
Man, when AMKAL get the pick onto Friend downstairs with the AWP, you're thinking, right, this is it, all systems go, B site is going to be taken. They overthink it. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah. They had no idea as to the CT's positions, and they get caught completely out in the open. That is one of those situations that Enterprise will be loving, and AMKAL will have to go back to the drawing board and think, like, how the hell do we let this one slip?
Those are the rounds that hurt to lose an awful lot. Small nuances as well, where, you know, the 2K spray down as they're coming in through Squeaky. If that doesn't happen, it's still a round that you can build into, even with the stack being there. Wasn't going to be easy though. Flanked at all corners. A room now for Taul to find himself a couple of stereo frags as well. Players outside grouping up, but they're giving him those 1v1s. Sees that 50 caliber round whiz past his head. And they back off a little bit. Don't overcommit on this. They leave Forrester here basically just being a bit of a distraction. Sell the idea of the play towards outside. Everyone else is beginning to group up and set a focus back on lobby and trophy.
Forrester's still on the prowl though outside. We're trying to draw away some players. And if he can, pave the floor with the blood of Enterprise. Friend missing out on the shot, but baits them into demo. And they bite down fully on this one, AMKAL. They've already committed to ramp. They need to fight their way out of this one. Friend switches to the sidearm. And he's going to connect the dots. It looks like this AMKAL slight resurgence in this round is going to come to an abrupt end. Nice flick from Friend. And although IC has retrieved the bomb and has a deagle to play with, he's got 5 Enterprise members to fight and fend off. And I don't fancy his chances to get too much done considering the position on the other side of the doorway of ramp. Gets caught by Friend, second USP kill in the round, and Enterprise dial in a 10-7 lead. Getting to that stage now, Jackie, where time is of the essence. Like, AMKAL need to turn this one around. I wouldn't hate the idea of them calling a tactical timeout now, to be honest. They're going to have a rifle round. They need to be on the same page.
Yeah, just slow it down a little bit. Have a chat about things and see if there is any easy adaptations that you could make. And obviously, this is when you actually have firepower to play with as well, right? So you'd prefer to have that extra bit of time to figure out what needs to change, but feeling like they've only been a fine margin away, they keep going. They won't take any unnecessary pauses on this one. Friend playing inside a main, looking for the peak round towards Squeaky early. Even going to break the smoke himself and try and peek in. Near miss on the lineup for that one, though. Doesn't fully find the tag and doesn't allow it to peek in, but he instead goes back outside, puts the barrel in the face of Crad, blows him away. Nickelback has had his back broken, Vince, and there's only now 3 players left alive on the T side.
For us to Travis and Icy to pick up the pieces. It was Travis that really reignited AMKAL in that first half after being 5-6-0 down. He stood up with authority in that ramp area. Maybe they need a rallying cry from him again. Him and Forrest are both on 15 kills, but they're going to have to bite the bullet and go back for a save. And this really sucks when you have a minute left on the clock. Just simply put, they're running out of gas, they're running out of money. The dollar bills aren't flowing anymore. And when that's the case and you're up against a very solid CT side in Enterprise, this is about as good a decision as you can make in this position. Now, surely, Jackie, with this save, surely they're going to call a tactical timeout into the next round because you are getting into last chance saloon territory now.
Yeah, now the game goes from, okay, we've got a few rounds of buffer to lose to, okay, they're 1 round away from having match point, guys. It's a best of 1 for the RMR. It's a huge game of CS, the most important game of Counter-Strike 2 you've played up to this point since its release. Can't afford to just have it taken away from you with what's riding on it, what you get from picking up a win here. Enterprise, though, what they get is a huge commodity, the 11th round. Their CT side looking pretty damn good right now. Money in the bank swelling as well, Vince. So even if they lose rounds, they're going to be able to get consistent buybacks into this game and keep themselves floating, keep themselves challenging anything that AMKAL are bringing out. At least now, we do see the tactical pause used. They're going to slow it down a bit.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely the correct decision to come up with. I honestly, they had 2 left. I would have liked to have seen one in the last round. But better late than never. And also, we don't know the dynamics and sort of workings of how these players, maybe they're the kind of guys that are like, as you said, they're optimistic. It's like, oh, we've been narrow margins, let's believe in ourselves, momentum, all these kinds of things. Either way, they've realized they're running out of ideas, they're running out of time, and they've got to make sure, as you absolutely nailed, this is the most important game of these guys' lives in CS2 so far. You could even argue that with the recency and the fact that this is the start of a new game and the potential to really escalate yourself up the rankings, maybe the most important game of their lives up to this point.
100%, man. 100%. It's the difference, right, of we are now in the dawn of a whole new era of Counter-Strike. CS2 ain't going nowhere. It's got legs on it, Vince. You look at the longevity, right? Whole point of rebuilding things on the new engine is to put it in a position where you can keep it alive. If CSGO was able to last, what, nearly 13 years at this point, CS2 easily got a decade ahead of it. Who knows how long we're going to be going for, Vince? So for you to have that opportunity to chisel your name into the teams that even attended the first major means so much for you. Sticker in the game as well, Vince. The first set of stickers for CS2, bud. You know they're going to go hard.
It's money in the bank for a lot of these players, absolutely. And they'll know it. It's not, of course, all over if they lose this. They go down into the 0-1 bracket. There's still plenty more Counter-Strike to come up for both of these teams, regardless of this result. There's no doubting starting 1-0 makes a huge amount of difference. As Travis making moves outside with Nickelback, down to a Mac 10. Only 5 kills to the name of Nickelback, and they're running into Tao, but it is that man with the SMG that rips him down.
The Mac Daddy pulls up to the party and slaughters the first one he sees. Meanwhile, Demo playing back towards the dark spot, tucked into the corner. If he goes unchecked, he can be a right pain. Whoa, Forrester as well, hitting the headshot onto Exist. And he's been getting a bit punished, Vince. He went from really flying with, you know, absolute colours into the first half to the longer the game's gone on, he's kind of been getting frustrated. A lot of these unlucky 1v1s he's losing out on. So this could actually be a bit of a opening now for AMKAL to open up some old wounds and build off the back of this. Exactly, especially as it Exist was playing with such confidence downstairs, landing these lightning-quick entry frags. Nickelback, though, has snuck his way up into heaven. Not tailor-made position for the Mac 10. But if he can get the drop on some of these players, that could be the difference maker. Pyjamas gets smoked out of position, allows the T's to make moves in. Actually, pardon me, that wasn't the smoke that they were looking for. And he gets one, but does get traded back in there as Forrester moves in for another kill. And now Travis, who's coming through with that 16 kills to his name, against Demo in a 1-on-4. He's going to get the shutdown on the first player in the back, but he knows that there's more T's around this area. And he's not really that interested in going for the clutch itself. This is all about damage control. How much can he inflict on AMKAL, and can he hold on to this AK-47? There's a timeline here as well, where if he doesn't take any damage, he's been sizing up the save on this AWP. Now the only possibility of it all going wrong is if he peeks out towards CT and Forrester finishes him off. But high HP, had 100 on him, so didn't need to worry about running too far away from the bomb blast, and does get through. With the salvage scope, he can drop that back onto his teammates at least, so it works out well on the save. But obviously the big factor is AMKAL actually get around to work with now. Exactly. Ooh, okay. Good job. I respect the restraint, man. We've all been there. He was thinking about absolutely smashing that desk, but he said, nah, do you know what? It's fine. We got time. We got rounds. It solves nothing. We go again. 64 HP on Crad. Molotov damage, but he's got a forward position on Red already. That grenade could do some serious damage, though, but just lands behind him. Blows open the smoke wall. It has now been rebuilt. Exist. There's the aggression that we've been lacking, and now he's got the upper hand. Peppering bullets through the smoke towards outside. So much damage done, and the confidence to continue with the push absolutely broken for Travis. So he doubles back. Exist throws out a Molotov as well. Slowing down the push now. Buying an awful lot of time. Bits of utility being used. Second after second to waste time from the clock and deny AMKAL from being able to be confident enough to hard commit on this push. They finally go for it and bypass. They're able to get across. Exist rotates round towards their double doors, realizing one player's at least bled by him. I see making a lot of noise though, Vince. He's opening himself up for the flank, and Tao finds him. Oh, this is getting dicey. Low HP bars on Travis and Crad, and 5 CTs with 35 seconds, and try and find a winning formula, a winning path through to some success. But I think, again, it has to be a save. Going back to spawn with 25 seconds and just 19 HP, it's brutal, but what are the choices do they realistically have against a full-fledged 5 lineup of Enterprise? On a really good day, it would still be an almost impossible task to pick up a clutch like this. But right now, with how the odds have been stacked against them, there's no possibility of them finding anything. That's if they can even hold on to what they've got. At least Crad spots the man trying to flank up on him outside and finds the frag. But look at the bigger picture. 12 rounds, Enterprise. One away, Vince. It's all it takes. One more round, and they are 1-0 up in the Swiss for the first ever CS2 RMRs. And they've got firepower. Friends on the AWP. Just Galils and AKs with utility to work with. That's all AMKAL have to their name. It needs to be sick. It has to be on point. There's no more room for error here. We've seen a lot of stutter starts on AMKAL's T-halves. And this has been more of the same. They've had opportunities. Forrester makes the most of that one. Pyjamas sent packing. Now sit on the sidelines and watch his teammates potentially bring it home. And they've gone aggressive. We haven't really seen these ramp pushes just yet. And Tao gets one, Nickelback falls. Here's Demo from the back. Strikes in, but he can't save his teammate. The trade's going away from the CTs now. Crad steps up tall. Crad being the lifeline of this team. A lot of experience on this man though, Vince. Well, 1 versus 3, problem is he's singed by the Molotov, and that audio cue will give the game away. He'll have full awareness that he's going for the hard commit and that he'd lost a lot of HP. Easy to spam him down and they remove him from the equation, but that's one round, one of many that they now need to win back to back. That's the scary fact about it, right? How many times is Crad going to find himself a 3K when everyone peeks into him, Vince?
Exactly. You cannot... Oh, man, it's just so both bittersweet to watch these reactions. So you can see how much it means to the players, but you're spot on. You can't justify Crad running through and getting a triple spray down each round. Like, these are individual moments of brilliance that AMKAL are hanging by a thread of, and you have to assume eventually that thread's going to get cut.
And Demo's trying to have a bit of spice of his own. He's even just gone for the harsh committal, right? Where he just pushes in, flanks through the back of Trophy, gets the frag, but not overconfident. Knows to give it up. You've got one pick now. You can play an effective trade game on the CT side of Nuke and probably coast your way to getting this round off the back of that alone. Exist even goes for the info play. He gets out and goes up towards T-Roof. They're shooting at feet, but he stays alive, gets on the top of the building. And now you're going to be so paranoid, Vince. You're thinking we're being flanked this whole time. Oh, timing on that.
Oh, the flash is good, though. It affords them safe passage. It is at the cost of 1 life, though. They pay the toll, and they go back out because the bomb was spilled down, and there is Friend, showing frustration and anger on the player cam, but it's going to be elation in just a few moments unless Travis can pull off a 1-on-4. 40 seconds allocated, still needs to go back and get the bomb, and it is Friend to put it down with authority. 13.
Super
Celebration. You could see as well, this is kind of what we're touching on, right? When you look at the human element, the difference of what these rounds mean in RMR Counter-Strike.